I'm celebrating my liberation. 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 I'm celebrating my liberation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second installment of our Transportation Live series. My name is Mariah Walton, and I am the Senior Community Relations Specialist here at LA Care Health Plan and your host for the Transportation series. We're so excited to bring this conversation to you all today for our second installment. Now, before we get into introducing our speaker, I do want to mention that with your Medi-Cal benefit, you do get access to rides to your appointment if that appointment is for a Medi-Cal covered service. Now, you can get this ride at no cost to you when you are traveling to and from your appointments for a Medi-Cal covered service authorized by your provider, or if you're picking up prescriptions or medical supplies. And so if you want more information on how to access the transportation benefit for Medi-Cal, you can call 1-888-839-9909. And that's TTYL 711 for those who need that information. Don't worry if you missed the number. Our team is going to be putting it in the comments so you have access to reach out for transportation. Now, today we have, once again, Brittany Mullins, who is the Principal Community Relations Officer at LA Metro. She is part of Metro Community Enrichment Programs, and she's going to be talking to us today about how to use public transportation, how to plan your trips, as well as some safety tips that you all might want to be mindful of this summer. And so, welcome, Brittany. We appreciate you for coming again today.
For joining us today. My name again is Brittany Mullins. I am with Metro Rail Safety and Mobility Programs, and today we'll be talking about using public transportation. So it's myself and my colleague Mark Arroyo, who is also a Principal Community Relations Officer. If you were here or part of our last series, it was what is a tap card? So we're really just introducing the basics of Metro. And so today we're going to talk about, once you've received your TAP card, how to use it on public transportation. So for the agenda, we're going to talk about how to plan a trip. Then we're going to do a trip planning demonstration. We're also going to talk about where to tap on the bus and rail lines. We're going to go over Metro Micro, and then we'll go over some safety tips. But first, we're going to have Mark Arroyo go over the how to plan a trip.
All right, so I'm going to go over a few options on how to plan your trip on transit. We're going to talk about the way you plan your trip, and then we're going to talk about its benefits. So first, we're going to start with the 323 Go Metro number. For those of you, that phone number is 323-466-3876. If you do call this number, you will speak with a live representative. That is one of the benefits. You can let them know what some of your preferences are, whether you want to use rail only or rail and bus or bus only. So you can really talk to somebody who will give you step-by-step instructions. The hours of service are Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So that's the first option. Next, Metro still has bus and rail maps and schedules, and these are the actual schedules that you can physically hold. They're good in case technology fails, in case your battery runs out. You always have these maps handy as well, and they will have schedules and the times of pickup times on each of the schedules. Another option, and we'll actually be doing a demonstration of it later on, is just use going online. You can go on metro.net, or you can go on different sites such as google.com/transit, which we'll go over in just a second. The benefits of using these methods are that you can print out the directions, or you can also send it to yourself or to others via text. So we'll do a demonstration in just a second, but last but not least, we have smartphones. And with our smartphones, there's different apps that you can use. You could use the Google Maps app. You can use the Transit app, iMaps. There's a lot of different applications that can help you to plan your trip. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration of the google.com/transit, or as I use, it's maps.google.com. This example here, we're going to take a short trip. We're going to go from the city of Compton to the city of Long Beach. And so I'm going to do a basic search. I'll type in my starting point. In this example, I have entered the Compton Courthouse, or 200 West Compton Avenue. And my final destination, I have typed in the Museum of Latin American Art, or MOLA. When you type in these locations, you could either put the title of the location, or if that doesn't show up, you can go ahead and just type in the actual address. Once you click enter, a bunch of different transit options will come out. As you can see on the top option, it recommends that I take the Metro A line, which is rail, and I transfer to buses, the bus 91 or 93. So that would take me 38 minutes. But I also see below there, I have the option of walking, taking the rail and walking. So I'm going to go ahead and select the other option, the one that says the Metro A line to walking, and takes 39 minutes. So this is a summary of the trip. I'm basically going to take a train, and we're going to see further instructions in just a second. So I'm going to select this option because it seems a little easier than transferring to a bus. So once I select this, it's going to give me further details. It's going to tell me how far I need to walk. So in this case, from the Compton Courthouse, I walk 8 minutes to the Compton station. Once I walk 8 minutes, I'll take the Metro A line, or the blue line, down until 5th Street Station. So as you can see, I take the Metro A line to 5th Street Station, and then I walk, it says here, walk about 11 minutes or half a mile. And once I walk that half a mile, I'll get to the Museum of Latin American Art. So I'll just do a quick recap. I have my starting point. I type in my ending point. Right now it says leave now. I'll just click enter or click search. It'll give me my transit options. I select the one that makes most sense for me. Once I do that, I can see my path. I can see all the details on how much I have to walk. And in this trip, I only had to walk 19 minutes or a mile total, and I'm able to get to my destination from Compton to Museum of Latin American Art, or MOLA. So this is a quick trip in the Gateway Cities region, but you could put any locations and find out how to use public transit to get there. Brittany?
Plan your trip and take either the bus or the train or both. When you're on the bus or the train, you need to know what to do with that tap card. So that was in our first presentation. So if you hadn't had the opportunity to look at that, you can go back with LA Care and there's a recap of it. So when you're on the bus, there are two types of validators that you can utilize, but you're going to use your tap card. And the idea of it is that you tap on the tap validator. There will be a round circular symbol that says tap on it. And once you tap it, the fare will be deducted from your card. And so that's how you tap on the bus. Next slide. So when you're on the train, on our rail system, there's another type of tap validator. And so there's either going to be turnstiles or they're going to be standing alone. The turnstiles are on our subways, and then the standalone validators are on our rail lines that are street level. So you'll see them on the side, and you can just tap, and again, it'll let you know by saying go on the, and it'll make like your clear kind of sound, and it'll let you know that the fare has been deducted from your card. You'll also see a remaining balance on your card as well, and then it'll light up green. So another service that we have outside of our bus and rail system is our Metro Micro, which are like small little vans that operate in certain areas. It's Metro's on-demand rideshare service, similar to like Uber or Lyft, where you would share a ride with someone that's going in a similar direction. Metro Micro has certain service areas that does the same thing. So they're small vehicles up to 10 customers, and they have those service zones, which really serve as a connection for our first last mile options. You can call or go through the app in order to use our Metro Micro system. And right now the rides are only $1. So you can get pretty far in these certain service areas and connect to our systems by only $1. So the hours of operations and the service zones are here. There are more. They've recently added another service zone, which is the UCLA one that's not on here. But there are multiple service areas: Northwest San Fernando Valley, the Watson Willowbrook, LAX and Inglewood area, North Hollywood, Burbank zone, Compton and Artesia, El Monte, Altadena, Pasadena, and Sierra Madre, in the Highland Park, Eagle Rock, Glendale areas. So those are some of the service zones for Metro Micro. Again, there's only $1 to ride, and you can call or use the app in order to secure your ride. And the hours are different. So again, you want to plan your trip before you set up to go out, and then that way you'll know when to come back, and so you don't try to connect when they're out of service. Next slide. So just some safety tips while you're out. Metro's number one priority is safety. So while you're out there, if you're on the bus or the train, waiting for a bus or a train, wait for it to come to a complete stop before boarding. Allow the passengers to exit the train before or the train or the bus before boarding to avoid that gridlock and make everything more seamless. Buses are all ADA compliant, and so is our rail system as well. So the buses have ramps to accommodate any mobility needs, and our train lines all have either ramps or elevators or escalators. So everything's ADA compliant. There are handrails for stability for if you're on the bus or the train while it's in motion. And for our older adults out there, identify the senior seating, and any folks with any type of disability, you can utilize those seatings as well. Next slide. So for our upcoming events, our last 3-part series with LA Care for our transportation series is going to be next Wednesday, June 15th at 1 o'clock. That series is going to cover our program entirely. So what we offer to the public, you guys can come and learn about our programs that we offer for older adults, for our students, and just for our general public. Thursday, June 23rd at 10 a.m., there's going to be an in-person Metro art tour at Union Station. And then for our older adult transportation with our On the Move Riders program, which you'll learn about next Wednesday, we're having a big event, an expo at the Pasadena Convention Center. Again, the expo brings all kinds of transportation vendors and agencies out, so you can learn how to connect better and what resources are available to you. To learn more about the On the Move Writers program and how to connect for our expo and other events like the Metro Art Tour that's on the 23rd, please visit metro.net/on the move. Next slide. And then you can also call and visit us online as well. Thank you so much. Mariah, if there's anyone who has any questions, please open up the floor.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brittany and Mark, for sharing all of this knowledge and information to our audience today. I don't know about you all, but the way these gas prices are looking, I'm going to be, using my tap card more often. So make sure you tune in next week. We're going to open it up to some questions from our audience. And so the first question that we have comes from Candace on LinkedIn. And this person asks, what accommodations are available for riders with vision impairment? Great question.
So Metro Rail, our rail lines have, I wish I had a photo to show you, but Metro Rail we have these, when the train pulls into the cart, we have bollards that are there for the gaps in the train. And we also have these like braille-like, what would you call them, Mark? They're like,
oh yeah, that's the tactile floors that you
yes.
see. Yeah.
Yes, we have tactile flooring for anyone who has a visual impairment. Also, there is if you have your mobile device, there is something with
It's Navalence.
Navalence.
It's like a pilot project at a Union Station that they're testing, where if you hold your phone up towards certain areas of the station, it'll provide you with instructions on
Audio.
Where to go through audio as well.
Wow. I love that. So Nevalence. Okay, great. Thank you so much for that answer. And hopefully someone is capturing that in the comments for those who need information regarding vision impairment and accessibility. The next question we have is also from Candace. She sent in 2 great questions. Can you discuss the Metro ride share or shared mobility options that make it easier for people who commute daily?
Mark, do you mind taking this question? You've written on Metro Micro.
Yeah. So, and can you repeat the question, the first part
Absolutely.
of it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Can you discuss Metro ride share shared mobility options for that make it easier for people who commute daily?
Right. So, Brittany talked a little bit about the Metro Micro app, and um, that does make things, it's within certain zones, and within these zones, it's basically like a first last mile type pilot project where we want to help people get to their destination or nearest transit hub or nearest bus stop or bus station or rail station without having to drive to that station if it's a long walk. So this program is a pilot. It's really meant to assist folks in becoming familiar with public transportation and being able to bridge that gap between getting from their house to connecting with metro services or other local services in their area. So as these programs are being tested out, they'll be improved over time. Will be reevaluated to see how it can cover different zones or the entire system. So with the pilot program, there's a lot to learn. So if you test it and you have some feedback to give, that's always welcome as well within the metro.net/micro website or by downloading the app.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Then we have oh, you have one more, Brittany. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, just the overall experience. So, Mark, has you booked these rides before
Yeah,
on
yeah.
apps?
So personally using it, when I've gone from my house to like an L line or Gold Line station, and when I type in my home address, it'll ask me to travel maybe less than a quarter mile or a couple blocks to a larger intersection, and I'll wait there for um, the van to pull up. The van is ADA accessible, so I'll get on. Usually there's only been one at max another passenger with me with a nearby destination, and it's similar to one of those shared Ubers for those of you who may know, you might be going towards the same direction but make a little detour, and they'll drop me off right at a Metro Gold Line or L Line station, and I'll be able to transfer there. So it's been really helpful for me every time I've used it.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mark.
That's awesome. Another question we have from a viewer, Area Strata from Facebook, asks, what if a line isn't or won't be running as normal due to repairs or servicing? Is that information shared with Google so people can plan their trips accordingly when they look up public transportation direction on Google Maps?
So yes, if they do speak with each other, Google Maps will like have like a yellow triangle, and then you can click it, and it will say if it's out of service or whatever the case may be that's interrupting the service, which is really important, right? Which is why it's really important to plan your trip ahead of time, right? So you know what to plan for, what to expect on your trip. But yes, Google Maps and then our transit app, which we went over through the first series, and iMaps, that they all speak with one another, and it'll let you know ahead of time what to expect on your trip as far as interruptions go. And then if there is like a bus that bridges you to your next connection, if it's on a train.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I mean, in a city where there's always something going on, that information is helpful to know that it is always updated, and, there's a seamless communication between all of those interfaces. Go ahead.
Also, just to piggyback on that, even if I plan my trip ahead of time, like let's say I plan it the day before, I always still route it out on my phone and have it active while I'm like throughout the day, so I can see in real time like what the time will be to my destination, to keep me forward thinking on like when I'm going to arrive. So that's just something that I do. And it you feel free, if you plan your trip ahead of time, you print out, or you already you wrote it down, if you don't have like a cell phone, but if you do, I still keep it on while I'm on my trips, just so that I can see if anything else may have happened, to plan accordingly.
Right. And if I may add, for those of you who drive to certain locations, the same way you use Google Maps and look at the traffic and look at the updated times. You can also do the same for public transportation. There's just a different icon. So by default, it goes to the car. But if you see the little icon, which is a train, sometimes I just click on that and see what my different options are, and that real-time data does show up. If there's a certain bus line that's going to be faster for you, it might give you that option. But if you're more comfortable using the train or the bus that you're more familiar with, you might wait the extra few minutes for that.
Awesome. Good call out. Good call out. Great question. The next question we have is from Mario on Facebook, and they thank you all for what you all do to assist customers who are utilizing Metro. Their question is, do you still grant discount for medical members?
Yes, we do. Again, in the previous series, we went over what is TAP, and a part of that series talked about our reduced fare program. And so for older adults and folks with disabilities, they do receive a reduced fare TAP card. But I know folks with permanent disabilities, those, if you have an access card, then that will also extend to Metro's transportation. So there are those options, and you can just Google LA Metro reduced fare TAP cards in order to see if you qualify and like what we offer as far as reduced fare.
Awesome, thank you, Brittany. Next question we have is from Misty on Facebook. Is the van free? And I believe this is in regards to the Metro Micro program or opportunity.
Right. So right now, Metro Micro rides are just $1. So
Okay.
they're not free. Sometimes there are some special offers or intro rates that you might receive in the mail. If you live within a zone, that'll give you a free ride. But right now they're just $1, still $1 at the moment. And they're not subject to surge pricing, although it is recommended that you do plan your trip in advance. Sometimes if you do it the moment of, there may not be service available. So we always recommend you can plan it out a day or two before if you want to try it and get to your destination.
Awesome. Next question we have, again from Ari on Facebook. It's a little longer, so let me explain what the situation is. She says, I was going to ride the red line with my little sister, and the tap reader didn't allow me to tap my card twice to pay for her fare. I had to exit to buy a second tap card and then tap for me to go through again after she had gotten her card. Has this changed? And it would be great if you can tap a tap card twice for two different people.
So I'm so sorry that you had that experience, but we do require for each individual, I don't know how old the person was with her, but if they were of age, believe it's 4 or 5, they need to be tapped in. But everyone needs their individual tap card in order for them to enter into the to ride the train or the bus. So that was what you were supposed to do, was to go get her individual tap card. Unfortunately, you had to tap again for yourself, but you can call 323 Go Metro and let them know your experience. They'll connect you to the right people to, or is it Tap to Go. My apologies, not 323 Go Metro, Tap to Go. Call the number on the card, and then let them know, hey, I tapped twice, and they'll see the timing of it. Say I tapped twice because I was trying to, tap my partner in and wasn't able to, so I had to go back. Let them know your story, and like that's the point of having the tap card. It's the personalization accompanied with it, and you can let them know, and they'll reimburse you for those funds. So just let them know your circumstance, and they'll refund those back to you.
And I do know that, for example, at Union Station, if you're down on the subway mezzanine, if something like that were to happen and you tapped and then left and you needed to go back, they have little like call boxes where you can speak to a live representative, and you can instruct them like, hey, I just tapped, I had to leave, but I need to get back on. and they might, permit you to just walk through the gate, or have some kind of accommodation for you. So if there's ever a call box that says, need help, you can always let somebody know, like, hey, I just tapped, and I need to get back through. And which, with each tap, you do have 2 hours of free transfers between Metro, bus, and rail. So for an example, if an older adult were traveling with discounted fare for 35 cents, they could get from, Long Beach to Hollywood with, a rail transfer for only 35 cents, or for one trip. So
Awesome. And we have one more question from Arlie, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. From LinkedIn asks, can you briefly mention again about the events that are going to happen? So we're pulling that up for you right now so they can go over it.
Okay, yes. Just for me to note, thank you guys for all these questions. I love that you guys are engaged in learning about Metro and how to connect. For our future upcoming events, for next Wednesday, we are doing the last part of our transportation series with LA Care. And we'll go over our Metro community enrichment programs, which serve the community. And then on Thursday, June 23rd, we're doing a Metro art tour at Union Station. So Metro has its own art department that goes over all of the art installations that are at Union Station. It's super interactive and cool. So if you're interested in art, please join us. And then Wednesday, June 29th, our On the Move Writers Program, Older Adult Transportation Expo, again, which is a huge event that we have at the Pasadena Convention Center, where we invite all of the transit agencies and vendors to one place at one time, so everyone who comes can learn about utilizing public transportation and how to connect better in their neighborhood or throughout LA County. And we also have different transit resources that you can learn about in presentations. It's a whole fun event. And to learn more about all of it, you can just go on metro.net/on the move. And we have our contact information on there, and you'll be able to reach out to us to learn more specifics or to connect and just talk about public transit.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much, Brittany and Mark. And for all of you that committed and carved out time to meet us here to learn about the transportation services. As we have stated, this is the second of 3 installments on the Transportation Live series. Meet us here next Wednesday, June 15th at 1 p.m. as we talk about Metro community enrichment and mobility programs with Brittany and her team. It's a pleasure to share this information with you all on our social media channels, and we hope to see you next week. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Always think of you when spring comes, like it's something in the air at that time. Don't know why. Always dream of you when